Hi everybody, welcome to this month's tips and tools for our awesome communicators. Listen in, I sure hope you enjoy this month's training piece.
Hey Family Ministry communicators, I am excited to talk to you about connecting with your audience today. In case we haven't met, my name is Michael, and I really feel disqualified for talking to you about how to speak publicly. Because here's the thing, for my whole life, I have just been incredibly awkward. I mean, it's been so bad that I finally came to a point of developing a life principle for myself that it's only awkward if you let it be awkward. Let me tell you the origin of that statement. See, when I was in college, there was this girl that I really liked. I was really into her, and we were getting to know one another a little bit and building a friendship, and I felt like things were going pretty well. So one evening, I put my arm around her and seemed to go good. So a little bit after that, I asked her if she would go out on a date with me, see if things might progress to a little bit more than a friendship, and she just very politely, very clearly said no, she wasn't interested. And it quickly got pretty awkward. But I enjoyed spending time with this girl, and so I felt like I had two decisions. I could just sit in the awkward, or I could act like it wasn't awkward at all and nothing really happened. So I went with the second one, and it turned out pretty good. And now we don't really talk. But I tell you this story for two reasons. One, for some reason, being this awkward doesn't disqualify me for public speaking, and so just still take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But two, the story illustrates my main point, that if you want to get your message across, you have to connect with your audience first. Let me say it this way. Before your audience can trust what you have to say, they have to first trust you. And this is so important when talking with children and students, because children and students don't listen to authorities so much as they listen to relationships. And so you need to build that relationship with them before they will truly listen to you. And so every time you get up and speak, you need to craft a personal connection with your audience. Otherwise, they will tune out and reject what you have to say. But if you do, if they see you as somebody who's real, somebody that they can relate with, and somebody who understands them, then they'll really hear what you have to say. And so here are 6 practical ways you can form that type of personal connection with the children and students that you're talking to. First, make them laugh. Make them laugh, and particularly make them laugh at you. Nothing breaks down walls like laughter, and nothing will make you more relatable and trustworthy than when the students are laughing at something hilarious about you and that you opened up with them. So make them laugh, and you'll start to form that connection. Second, show emotion. And in particular, show emotion about things that your audience cares about. So tune into something that the students or children that you're talking to feel angry about or confused or sad about, and feel that emotion with them. If you do, you'll make an emotional connection with your audience as well as an intellectual one, and they'll really connect with what you have to say. So first, make them laugh. Second, show emotion. And third, be real. And being real often means that you need to be vulnerable. Assume that your audience doesn't trust you, and build that trust by letting them see your struggles and victories and where you're feeling weak. If they find that you are somebody who's honest and vulnerable, they'll build that trust and really start to listen to what you've got to say. So be real with them. Fourth, find your informality. What makes you unique or quirky? And let that come out when you're talking. You see, sometimes we feel like being professional or polished in front of people will make us relatable, but it really does the opposite. You know who's not polished and professional at all? Children and teenagers. And so if you let some of your quirkiness and uniqueness come out, they'll find that relatable rather than something to reject, and you'll start to build a relationship with your audience that way. So finding your informality means knowing what makes you unique or quirky and leveraging it in your communication. That was number 4. Number 5 is interact with your audience. Interact with your audience. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes at the beginning of a talk, it can be really great to ask a question and just listen. See what the children or the students might say back, and sometimes it'll be totally off the wall and hilarious, and I say run with that. It'll help you make that personal connection. A few weeks ago, I was talking and I mentioned that Solomon was known for being the wisest man who ever lived. And a student chimed back and said, yeah, and also for having the most wives of anybody who ever lived. What do you do with that? I leaned into it and said, you know what? It's true. So I wouldn't recommend taking dating advice from the guy. Awesome time of making a personal connection with them. And you know what? I had them hooked for the rest of what I had to say. So interacting with the audience can be really big. And lastly, tell them that you love them. Tell the children or the students that you're talking to that you love them. I know it might be a little bit awkward sometimes, but here's the reality. Children and teenagers can never have too much love. And unfortunately, too many of the students and kids that we're talking to are starved for it. And so if you go up and you tell them, show them that you care about them, that you love them, you'll have them hooked and they'll start to really listen to you. And so if you go up and talk with your audience in such a way that they know and trust you, then here's the thing. They'll be open to getting to know and trust the God that you want to share with them. And so anytime you go up to speak, make that personal connection, and then they'll be open to hearing what you have to say. And remember, it's only awkward if you let it be awkward. See you later.